Necessarily those of WSTU. WSTU does not endorse products that may be mentioned. Any reproduction or retransmission of this broadcast is strictly prohibited without written consent of WSTU. It's time to call in with your questions and comments at 220-9788, 220-WSTU. And now, here's Casey Ingram.
Well, folks, I'm so excited. I've been talking about this show for quite a few weeks now. We're going to have Suzy Nash on next, and this is going to be an exciting show. She's a wonderful country western singer. She's just going to be going on tour, but we're really lucky here on the Treasure Coast because she is at Archie's every weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sundays. We all know Archie's. It's up there in Fort Pierce, and just a ton of fun. So we're going to hear from Suzy in just a minute, but before we do, I want to remind everybody that Michael Circus for Martin County Commission District 5 wants to remind all residents that the greatest power you have as a resident is to be involved in your local politics. Vote on August 20th for your next county commissioner. Michael Circus, focused on the future, educated on the past. Paid for by Michael Circus, campaign for County Commission District 5. So Suzy Nash. Suzy discovered her gift for music early, captivating audiences with her performances since childhood. Despite enduring hardships, including several failed and even abusive relationships, her passion for singing remained strong. Working side by side with her current husband, Al, she has done everything from operating one of the most iconic restaurants on the Treasure Coast of Florida to recording in Nashville, all while continuing to connect with listeners through her heartfelt live performances. Nash's music, inspired by her own experiences of pain and resilience, seeks to uplift and heal others. Now, at the age of 54 years, in the spring of 2024, she embarks on a nationwide tour aboard her cherished tour bus, which she calls Matilda. Embracing life's adventures with youthful exuberance, Nash's story is one of triumph over adversity, illustrating the transformative power of music to inspire and unite, and showing that it is never too late to pursue one's dreams. Suzy, are you with us today?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Hello.
Suzy Nash, I am so glad to have you on the line, and I appreciate you calling in because I know you're super busy embarking on your tour, but it's going to be fantastic to get to know you a little bit and also to hear some of your music. So tell us, where are you at today and how are you doing with the tour? Because I know you're just starting that.
Well, we've been planning. My husband, Al, has been... Well, first of all, let me say thanks for having us on the show. We're super excited, and we love, I grew up in Martin County and, made my way up to the Fort Pierce area. But I love Martin County, and I love everything, that they're doing down there. But as far as us, we've been working on this tour for a few months. And last summer we went in and we cut 14 really amazing, it's kind of a 90s country feel. We're trying to, kind of bring back that feeling of the way country music used to be, talking about God, country, and family. And the songs that we chose, we're basing our tour on. So it's super exciting. And the other thing we're basing the tour on is the eclipse. So it's actually called the Great American Eclipse Tour because Al, among other things, is an astrophysicist. So he loves everything having to do with that. So we're kind of putting them both together and taking Matilda and heading to the hills.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. I've had Al on the show before. We're going to have him on again, and he is an astrophysicist and super bright, and he can talk about a lot of different subjects. But today I'm just so excited to have you here, Suzy, because as I read through your bio, and you also supplied me a longer one, the fact that it says you're 54, it's never too late to chase after your dreams. And why don't you just tell us a little bit about Suzy Nash and what brought you to this point of, at age 54, embarking on your tour. And music is something that I think has brought you through the hard times and tough times ever since a little girl. So I just want you to share about you.
Oh, gosh. Well, I had, as the bio said, I've been singing my whole life. And as I became an adult, I started singing at events and things like that. And then I got involved with, other musicians, and we started performing locally. But there was always that thing inside of me that said, I want to reach more people. But the thing was, we never had songs. We were only doing covers. And So the first time we went to Nashville in 2017, we did a few covers, and we had like 3 original songs, and they weren't fantastic. They were good, solid songs. And then we were promoting that a little bit, and then kind of got sidetracked with, we kind of took over a restaurant, and COVID happened, and throughout the whole thing, we kind of see the Lord's fingerprints on kind of leading us. And so then out of nowhere, my producer from that time got us in touch with a gentleman who actually, was on Reba's team. He helped launch, Reba's career and was actively involved. So he gave us access to the catalog of songs that basically her publishing company did. So I'm actually, all of the songs that I'm recording and have recorded, most of them, I'd say 95%, are from her catalog. So it was either songs she kind of turned down or just wasn't a good fit for her. So it's amazing to see. I remember, I was at the restaurant one night, and I was in the bathroom cleaning up or something, and I'm singing because the acoustics are so good in the bathroom. And I'm just like, Lord, I really want to do this, but here I am. I'm in a bathroom cleaning up. And so to go from there to, where we are now, working with the best musicians in Nashville and just recording at these wonderful facilities, and then being able to go and with the live shows, just reach normal people, people that still believe in God, country, and family. And that's really what our music is all about. And at 54, my challenge is that, most of the new artists are in their 20s, and they're, these beautiful, people. And I'm like, I just went through menopause, and I'm like, oh my gosh, so it's
right.
It's like, this is me. So I think, and what I'm hoping is that it's going to give people encouragement that, you can go from where I was to going after your dream. And what, your dream might not be singing, but your dream might be starting a business. Your dream might be, traveling around the world. It's never too late. And I think that if I would have had success as a singer early on, I don't know that my character could have supported where my gift could have taken me.
You bring up a lot of good points in what you just said, and one thing that really strikes a chord with me is the fact that, you just have to trust God.
Yes,
a door will
absolutely.
open. A door will open, and you just have to be brave enough to open that door and walk through it. And folks, if you want to learn a little more about Suzy Nash, you can go to SuzyNash.com, SUZY, SuzyNash.com, and it talks a lot about the songs that you have. But I want to play a couple of them, and you tell us a little bit about these songs, because in your bio, you actually were quoted about those songs from Reba that, she never recorded them. Nobody did, and it was like they were just waiting for you.
I know. It's been decades. Well, I think one of the oldest songs is 15 years, but I mean, they've been sitting there, and it's like we do feel like they were just waiting for me.
Let's start here, Evan, with the first song, and it opened the show as well, but we're going to hear it without my voiceover on it, and that's The Heartbeat of a Small Town, and then afterwards I'll ask you a little bit about that, Suzy.
Throwing at 7 a.m. Mrs. Jones' little teacup dog barking, going at it again. Friday night, bright lights, old stands cheering, might not know it, but what you're hearing is the heartbeat of a small town, the sound of a lawnmower circling around, yes, on the streets, in every house, playing on repeat is the heartbeat.
It's fantastic. Suzy, honestly, I know part of your bio is Martina's vocal range, Reba's swagger, and Dolly's heart. And boy, you can hear all that. You just have a fantastic voice. But tell us a little bit about that song and why you chose that one.
Well, in the process of choosing songs, I I always try to go back to songs that either make me cry or songs that are what I call craveable. So, I go through certain songs and then I listen and then I see which one comes back to me. So this particular song kept coming back to me because it's so catchy and it's just really fun. And it just reminds me of, I'm 54, so I grew up in the 70s and 80s. It reminds me of the America that I grew up in.
I love the song. It has a great beat to it. The way you sing it, I'm just sitting here kind of bopping to it when I was listening to it.
It's so much fun.
It is. And I grew up the same era as you did, and I couldn't agree more. And, part of that, it's nostalgia, especially for those of us that are over 50. And you think about it was such simpler times then. It really, truly was.
I know. I can't even imagine growing up or being a kid, without knowing, what a cell phone is or a computer.
I know, and it's such different times now with
it really is
all the different destruction and violence that's around, and especially kids in school. I think, getting off track here a little bit, but when we went to school, we weren't worrying about kids coming in and shooting the school up. They had shotguns in the back of their trucks.
I know.
No one even dreamed it would ever be used at school.
I know.
So,
well, that's what we're trying to. That's kind of the feeling and the nostalgia. I love that word that we're trying to bring back, and just the hope. Really, we're trying to bring hope back to country music, and I think music is one of the most powerful forces on the planet. And
it is.
There's people that the quiet masses that want that.
I truly believe that as well. And music is one of those forms of art that you can hear a song and it brings you back to your childhood, or it's a new song and you create a new memory with it today. It's such a wonderful thing that touches everybody's heart. But there's another song that you're just releasing that, you cannot listen to it without breaking down and crying, at least in my opinion. And Evan, if you could play a clip of Saving Grace.
Just have their insides as they all said their piece. Sometimes you gotta hear rock bottom to finally see. Yeah. So tonight she's saving grace. A red-eye flood and a full suitcase. As tough as it's been, she wants to be there for them. So she'll do whatever it takes. Tonight, she's saving grace. Yeah.
Suzy, that's one song where you truly bring the character to life. And I just want you to tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, one of the interesting things about that song is, as we were listening and picking the songs for this album, I heard literally like the first verse and I just moved past it. I said, no, that's way too heavy. I can't do that. It's just, let me go listen to something fun,
Right.
And so we were getting towards the end of picking the final songs. We had to get them to Nashville so that they could, arrange the charts and do what they do in preparation for us coming to record. And there was two songs that I just was not comfortable with. I wasn't vibing with them. And I literally had like a day left. Mm. And so I was lying in my bed one morning and, just kind of in the early morning, when you kind of just talk to God. And I said, I heard his voice quietly, and he's like, what about Saving Grace? And I was like, oh. I was like, man, that song is so heavy. I said, okay, I'm going to listen to it again. So I just turned my phone on, and I played the song, and I just started crying. And I said, okay, I see what you mean.
Right.
So when we went to the studio, we changed our lineup to include Saving Grace. And the beautiful thing was that when we went to the studio to record it, my producer, his name is Ace, and I sang the take take, and I opened the door from the vocal booth and I looked out and he was crying. Mm. And he said, "This has never happened to me before. I've been doing this for 15 years. And so we really feel like this song just has a specialness to it that people that need to hear it, I hope, again, this is about getting to the masses. I hope the people, I always believe the right song will find you at the right time. So I'm hoping that this song finds people when they need it.
So, folks, again, we're speaking with Suzy Nash. You can find her work and buy CDs at her website, suzynash.com. You can also find her music on Spotify, Apple Music, or really any streaming service. Just look up Suzy Nash. But Saving Grace in particular, it's one of those songs that is just completely fitting and appropriate for what happens today. And, Suzy, can you tell us a little bit more about what the song is about? And why so many people, it's unfortunate so many people can relate to it today, but we are in this type of society today that many folks can relate to it.
It is. Well, we are. So the song is basically about an intervention, and in our mind's eye, we see it's like a soccer mom that got in an accident and, started taking pills for the pain and became addicted to them. And it talks about a family doing an intervention, and ultimately, she chooses life instead of continuing on in her addiction. And it's really powerful. We actually, have some quiet plannings that we're doing in the background of possibly, making it like a Pure Flix film or, something like that, because we really feel like that story is prevalent in not only America, but worldwide. And there's a lot of shame that comes with addiction. And if you can talk about it, and if you can shine a light on it, and if you have people that are willing to support it and support you, we just want to make it known and give people hope. Again, going back to hope, giving people hope.
There is hope, and this song is touching, and there's such an opioid crisis going on across the nation right now, and I think hopefully people are starting to realize that this isn't just, weak people that get addicted. These opioids are so strong. They take a hold of the people, the person taking them, and they don't really have a choice anymore. And that's where I think, I hope that this does get turned into a film, because if you listen to the song, folks, you can envision it, and there really is a story there. And again, that's Saving Grace, and you can listen to that at suzynash.com. And Suzy, there was another clip that you had brought in today as well that I wanted you to talk about. If You Had a Heart. I like this one. Evan, if you can play that clip.
I found that little black dress and I pulled it down. I took all this lonely and I came uptown. On a street of whiskey, and I drank it. If you had a heart, I'd break it. I'd take all that steel and stone and turn it into flesh and bone. Goodbye would bring you to your knees, where you'd be human just like me. You'd be sorry too, and not just say, if you had a heart, I'd break it.
I love that. That's really got some swag to it. Tell us how that song came
It's playfully snarky.
Yes.
That's what I like to call it.
about. It is. Tell us how that song came about.
Well, again, it's, from Reba's catalog. This is another song that actually, my husband said, honey, that's your song, because of the range and because of it's almost a little blues and gospel in there, and a little bit of rock. I mean, I can rock some Janis Joplin if I need to.
I believe you.
It's kind of like that. And, who hasn't had their heart carelessly dealt with, So if you watch the video, which is on YouTube, as well, you can see I'm kind of having fun with it. And it's just, again, playfully snarky, which could basically describe my personality. And just putting it to a good tune.
It really is. It's a fantastic tune. It's one of those you can kind of rock out to, like you said. It's a soulful rock country. It's all mixed in there. Your voice brings things together. And speaking of your voice, it's one of those things you mentioned that over the years, many people have commented about how much control you have over your own voice. And you said you can make your voice do what you want. That's a special talent.
Yeah, well, it comes from, I call it, I'm a professional chair singer. So, I've sung to years and years of empty tables and chairs. So just honing your craft, and there's I don't know if millions is the right word, but there's so many people that are so talented that are night after night, they go out and they gig, and, maybe there's 10 people in the place, and you just do your best, and hopefully you get better and better at what you're doing.
Absolutely right. And take a small break here. Michael Circus for Martin County Commission District 5 wants to remind all residents that the greatest power you have as a resident is to be involved in your local politics. Vote on August 20th for your next county commissioner. Michael Circus, focused on the future, educated on the past. Paid for by Michael Circus, campaign for County Commission District 5. Suzy, there's so many different things that I want to talk about, but you knew early on you really had a tremendous voice, and that is you won a local singing contest, and it propelled you to a national vocal competition in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and you emerged victorious. And I'm sure your nerves were just on fire that day. Tell us a little bit about that, and when was that? Because I think that kind of launched your recognition that, hey, I really enjoy this, and I've got something here.
Yeah, well, that's another interesting story. So I was 19 at the time, and I went up to, Tennessee, and didn't know anybody, and it was kind of like a church thing. They had a national competition. I think I sang Sandy Patty, which is, if you know Sandy Patty, she is amazing. And it happened to coincide with my birthday. And so I had talked to the sound guy, and I said, I'm really nervous. I don't know why I'm here. This is crazy. I don't know anybody. And so I told him it was my birthday. And when I got up on stage, and there was probably 1,000 or 2,000 people there, he wouldn't play my music, and I was standing on stage. And all of a sudden, you hear this voice starting to sing Happy Birthday. And so the whole crowd starts singing Happy Birthday to me.
Oh, that is wonderful.
and then I sang, and of course the crowd went crazy, and I won, which was amazing. But there really wasn't as far as that thing, there wasn't a support thing in place. So I just kind of went back to Fort Lauderdale, and I said, okay. I don't know what to do now, so I just kind of moved into life, and unfortunately made some bad decisions, bad relationships, and had some children, and tried to raise my kids, and and here I am, 54, and I'm like, okay, let me do this here.
Well, that's what we're going to talk about next, is this tour, because folks, if you go and look at Suzy and find a little bit more about her, she has had a tremendous life story, and I think that God had a plan for you to meet Al at just the right time. But before then, you had to go through some real trials and tribulations, and we're talking abusive relationships.
Yeah.
And it was very tough for you for a lot of times. But Suzy, you didn't give up. You waited for that next door to open up. And, here you are. You had to go through those times, but at 54, you're going out on that tour. You're taking Matilda, your tour bus. So tell us a little bit, where are you kicking off your tour? And I know that folks can listen to you at Archie's Friday, Saturday, and Sundays. Fridays from and Saturday 5 to 8, and Sunday 2 to 5. And Archie's, everybody, 401 South Ocean Drive, Fort Pierce. No shoes, no shirt, no problem. We love, 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 love Archie's. But tell us about your tour.
Well, what we're doing this year is we are really focusing regionally. We almost have all of our dates taken. We're going to be up there for maybe 4 to 6 months in the West Virginia, Pennsylvania area. And, I've toured there before, and we've made some wonderful, friends and contacts, and they're just good salt of the earth people up there. So we're going and shaking hands and kissing babies and doing the smaller shows this year,
That's
just
gonna
to
be
really
such
get
fun.
to know people and have people get to know us.
So that 4 to 6 months, that's kicking off here relatively shortly. Will you be back at Archie's throughout that time at all, or are you going to be on tour up north and then back in the fall?
Yeah, we're going to be on tour, and then we're planning on coming back in November. Unless of course, they call me and ask me to sing at the Super Bowl, but
There
I
you
think we're
go.
a ways off from that.
I'd love to hear you at the Super Bowl. I'll tell you what. That would be fantastic. But and folks, you can go to SuzyNash.com, and I know that you can take private bookings and might be busy with your tour, but certainly things that are
Oh,
coming up.
absolutely. They can call us. I mean, if you have the perfect thing for us is, we'll do anything from a house party to we're doing, smaller clubs, larger clubs, festivals. I love the summer music festivals where everybody brings out their chair and you just kind of sit there. Again, getting back to nostalgia America for me. Drinking some sweet tea and having the kids running around and just talking with your neighbor.
And you got a good American music that kids can listen to. That's something else. You talk about families is, so much of the music is there's so much bad influence on a lot of the popular music for young kids these days. And yours, anybody can listen to your song. You don't have to worry about shielding their
Absolutely.
ears.
Absolutely.
You talk about another song and just things that you do. There's Praying Right, a song that speaks to those who wonder if God hears their prayers. That's something, people wonder all the time. And I don't have a clip queued up on that, but what a fabulous message and song to speak about.
It really is. And that's actually coming out March 29th. But again, from Reba's catalog, when we heard that song, we both looked at each other and we both started crying. Like I said, if a song can make me cry, I know that it'll probably make other people cry.
It's worth listening to. Saving Grace for sure is one of those songs. Suzy Nash, I'm so excited for you. And folks, my goodness, follow Suzy Nash. She has Facebook page as well. This is truly inspirational. At 54, she said, why not? I'm going to go do it. She's got this, you should see her fabulous tour bus. It's huge, and I wish you so much fun and success on your tour, and I can't wait till you bring the tour back down here into Florida, because I know you will.
Yes, ma'am, and we'll, next season we will be at Archie's Friday, Saturday, Sunday again. We're the house band there.
You don't want to miss it, folks. Again, that's Archie's Seabreeze in Fort Pierce. SuzyNash.com. Appreciate you coming on today. We love your music.
Thank you, Casey.
Have fun. God bless.